Welcome back to the GOAL2GO podcast, man. Episode 14, week 13 of the NFL season coming right around the corner, man. Let's start off. We talked a little bit about Thanksgiving last week, bro. How was your day, bro?
It was chill. All of my picks hit except for the Patriots. Thought they was gonna win, but it's good to see Mac Jones have the game of his life. So Pats fans have that to look forward to. But other than that, it was chill. How about you?
Yeah, bro. Good food, vibes, had a little wine. Can't complain, bro. Can't complain. This week, man, you already know we got a segment of Hot or Not, as always. We got something a little different. We got the 10 new head coaches this season.
Yeah.
Took over a new team. We got a little ranking for them, and then obviously week 13 picks. It's a big week, man. Deshaun Watson coming back.
It's a big week only for Cleveland fans, and they're not even playing for anything. So
Count us out, man. That's what we like. But, we're going to quickly cover those picks from last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm 100.
I went 11-6. I think you went 10-7.
Yeah. You had one more than me, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm at 100 wins right now.
Oh, welcome to the club, bud.
Yeah, you're at 117?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler at 117. Hey, man. If I just switched a couple of picks right there, that Browns Jags upset, you didn't see those coming.
No one did. Besides you, apparently.
Hey, man. You need them upset picks, bro. That's what I'm good for, apparently.
Bro, you still lost the week, though. It didn't even help you.
I'm sorry Russell Wilson still has more bathrooms than touchdowns.
Bro, no. I don't think I'll ever pick the Broncos again this year, bro.
Nah, I won't either, bro. It just let me down so drastically.
Sam Darnold was looking like him, bro. Like he was back in the L.A. Coliseum.
I was about to say, man, it looked like he wasn't seeing any more ghosts or anything like that.
DJ Moore killed Patrick Surtain that game too, bro. I was watching it. He had a touchdown on him, a couple big throws.
Think Devontae gave him some PTSD, not gonna cap.
Probably. DJ Moore was eating against Surtain, which was surprising, but DJ Moore has a talent. He's just never had a fucking competent quarterback to throw him the ball.
No doubt. Hot or not, bro? I'm gonna start you off. I got 2 this week.
I'll start off. Or you want to start off?
Go ahead, bro. Be my guest.
We'll switch it up. All right, I got 3. I'm sorry, this one. All right. Hot or not, Eagles have the most complete offense in the NFL.
That's a hot take, man. You seen the Dolphins?
I did.
But, I'm not going to knock you, bro. They're up there. Miles Sanders finally gave him some touches. It's never been a question whether Miles Sanders was good or not. It was just the fact that he's not really involved in the offense. I think he went 140, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. You've seen him make some good throws before. Right now, it's definitely up there, top 2. I was just kind of hating saying it was a hot take, but it's not a hot take just because, it's really up for grabs in my opinion with the most complete offense when it comes to the Chiefs are now in there with the way Pacheco's been playing.
Yeah, he's stepped up his game. Yeah.
But I would go most complete the Dolphins and the Eagles, so it's not really too much of a hot take.
Not mad at it. All right. The second one is hot or not. Packers and Jets have found their QBs of the future.
It's crazy, man. So I'm gonna ask mine right after because I got something similar. Jordan Love, he was looking good. I think they just might as well ride with Jordan Love the rest of the year. Sign Rodgers to that extension. I don't know what's up with him, what's going on. Some team will trade for him. Some team is going to want Rodgers. So you might as well rock with Jordan Love, see what happens from there. At the end of the season, you still want to trade Rodgers. Rodgers probably wouldn't like it if he got benched. So But in my opinion, let Jordan Love play. I think he could be the future of the pack. I'm not going to say based off 6 passes that he's the future.
Mm.
But, I mean, he looked good. He came into the game late, scored a touchdown. I think in both drives he was in, they scored. Touchdown and a field goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't knock the man for playing. But it was against the Eagles' defense, who just before the show you were talking about their defense is not looking too impressive right now, which I agree with. But you're still playing NFL caliber teams going out there scoring, coming off the bench with no first team reps the whole week. It's a tough task. And then along with the Bills, Mike White, I wouldn't.
Or the Jets.
Oh, yeah, my bad. The Jets. I wouldn't say Mike White's like the future, but is he better than Zach Wilson? 120%. Just move on from Zach Wilson. You got Mike White. See what you got there. Kind of like the pack with Jordan Love. You got to see what he's capable of. I mean, he was balling the other year when he got his opportunities. So yeah. I necessarily wouldn't really bash it too much. But I saw a picture. It was Joe Flacco, Mike White, and Zach Wilson all on the bench. Flacco and Mike White both had a tablet in their hands breaking down film, and Zach Wilson's just looking off into the distance.
Wait, in the last game?
Yeah, it kind of just shows where his head's at, but
they were during the game, they put like this funny stat on the screen like at the end of the first half. It was like Mike White, I think he had like 200 passing yards like at the end of the second quarter, and they were like most passing yards since 2021, and they put himself.
I mean, come on, bro. Clearly a good option for the Jets, but I mean, I was gonna ask you the same thing. Is Mike White the answer for the Jets?
That one's a tough one, just because like we've seen Mike White play enough NFL football right now. At this point, like you said, last season he had the stint where he came in, he was really hot, and then he kind of came back down to earth later and was just like throwing hella interceptions. It's like now he's back and he's looking really hot again. So it's like, what do we really have with Mike White at this point? So I think you would just need to see him play more. We've seen him play enough, but I don't think that's like enough of a serving size, because we've seen 2 different versions of Mike White so far. So I would, see how he plays the rest of this year. I know they got some big games coming up at the end of the year, so it should be interesting to see how he plays. But like you said, I agree. I think he's better than Zach Wilson, so you can like kind of write that off. And the players just look, more energetic. Garrett Wilson had a big game. Elijah Moore, he finally got involved.
Elijah Moore
looks like he doesn't want to get traded anymore. I know Michael Carter went out with an ankle sprain, but their backup running backs, Ty Johnson, and I forgot the other dude's name, but he looked pretty good coming out of the backfield. You got a good group of tight ends, so there's weapons around, and that defense isn't win now mode. So listen, man, I think you just rest of the season, see what Mike White can offer this team that is clearly heading in the right direction. So I would just, I don't know if I'll say QB of the future, but I think you definitely have answered some questions in terms of, is Zach Wilson the guy? And then the last one I have is, hot or not, the Packers are in pretty much the same situation with Rodgers as the Broncos are with Russell Wilson.
Ooh, that's a good one. I thought you were gonna say the Bucks, but man, I'm gonna say it's not a hot take. Rodgers are obviously playing better than Russ is.
Yeah.
Not saying that's phenomenal, but I think if you put Rodgers on the Broncos, they'd obviously have more wins than they do right now.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, I mean, they're basically both older QBs. Rodgers, although is coming off 2 back-to-back MVP seasons, hasn't looked to be Aaron Rodgers and the Hall of Famer that we know him to be. So Russell Wilson, also a Super Bowl champ, who's also had MVP caliber seasons, but both of them really nothing to show for this year. So when it comes down to it, I mean, I do think they're in the same boat. I do think that it's not a hot take when it comes down to it.
Yeah, just the Packers have a somewhat brighter future because, one, they can get out of Rodgers' contract next year. So he'll have one more year, and then after that, they can get out of it. And they got Jordan Love. The Broncos are stuck with Russell Wilson. That's the only difference I would say. But I do kind of think they're in like the same situation where older quarterbacks that have been playing at a really high level, but right now they've been banged up, just haven't been playing to what we known them have, not playing to the level we've known them to play. So.
And Rodgers has always been that guy. He's never been someone to really rally the troops and be a team guy.
No.
I think Russell Wilson's somehow less than Aaron Rodgers as a team leader.
Well, because at least with Rodgers, you know what you're getting. Like, Rodgers is like,
Just
he's kind of out there. He's more to himself. But with Russell Wilson, it seems like it's like you don't know who you're getting week by week. Like, is he the Broncos country? Let's ride. Is he, doing the Subway commercials? Like, is he Sierra's husband? Like, he seems weird. It's like he's like a different person every week. He's just not himself. Like,
yeah. I feel that, bro. Especially after, I forget who it was. The D lineman was yelling in his face.
Yeah. Telling his ass to tighten up.
He said, Russ said Broncos country one too many times. But, so now that you took one of my hot or nots, I only got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of asked this question earlier in the season just with a different team. But after yesterday's collapse and with another win by the Cincinnati Bengals, my hot or not is, will the Bengals finish at the top of the AFC North?
I'm going to say that is a hot take, and that's strictly just because of like the rest of the season schedule. I'm pretty sure the Bengals might have like the hardest schedule for the rest of the season. I know they play the Chiefs next week, and they got a couple more tough games. But I was looking at the Ravens schedule, and they play I think they play the Steelers twice. They get the Saints. Like, they have like a super cakewalk schedule. Now, I might say the Bengals are the better team right now, but I just think matchup-wise, the rest of the season, the Ravens have, just a lot easier games, and that'll help them, clinch the division. But I would say the Bengals are the better team, but the Ravens win the division just because their schedule's a lot easier down the stretch.
I'm pretty sure both of them play Cleveland, and
Yeah.
Cleveland's on the road for both of those games too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to conclude our hot or not segment this week. Moving on, man. We got 10 new head coaches. I'm just going to go ahead, read all 10 real quick. And then I'm going to let you go first with your picks.
Let's go back and forth.
Okay.
So you do your 10. Like, you say 10, I do who I said is 10. Like 9. And
Okay.
Go, like, back and forth.
So I'm just going to name them off real quick. Todd Bowles, Josh McDaniels, Dennis Allen, Nathaniel Hackett, Mike McDaniel, Kevin O'Connell, Brian Dable, Doug Peterson, Matt Eberflus, and Lovie Smith.
Yeah.
So number 10,
Who you got?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
3-8 Denver Broncos. You could put the blame on Russ, but at the end of the day, Nathaniel Hackett has not made good coaching decisions since week 1 of the NFL season and hasn't really improved to do anything like it. The Broncos may be favored towards the top of the division. No one expected them 3-8 at this point in the season.
Wow.
So it's just, they were all in, and right now they're all out.
Yeah, you pretty much just covered everything. Like, the high expectations coming into this year, some people had them winning that division, making the deep playoff runs. Super Bowl hopes were were in the air, and now it's just like this team is a complete mess. And Nathaniel Hackett, he's the one, that kind of gave Russ the reins to run this whole show. So even if you don't want to put it on Nathaniel Hackett for how the offense is playing right now, he's the one, that gave Russ the opportunity to, bring in his offense and run it how he wants. So, either way, neither one is working. And, this offense right now is letting an elite defense down. The Broncos, their defense can only play so good for so long until, the offense has to step up. So I'm with you, man. Nathaniel Hackett has been the worst head coach hire so far this year.
All right, man.
You got number 9.
Number 9, I got kind of someone that's in between. The only reason I picked this one, number 9, I got Dennis Allen, the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm surprised you took him at 9, but
The Saints have been horrible.
They have. They're 4-8 at this point in the season. have a better defense. I mean, they got weapons. Alvin Kamara, I know Mike Thomas hasn't been there. Jarvis Landry's been banged up. Chris Olave's having a good rookie year. But at the end of the day, you had Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton. Jameis Winston started the season off QB. He gets hurt. Andy Dalton comes in. Jameis comes back healthy. And you keep Andy Dalton in there. And what has Andy Dalton done to just keep playing as a starting quarterback?
Nothing. And then another reason I had him at number 9 is I'm pretty sure he was with the Saints like last year as well. Like he was a defensive coordinator. So he's been in this building. He knows the players. He knows the system. And nothing has really changed. And I think he was a defensive coordinator. And this defense has underperformed as well. You know, Tyrann Mathieu is supposed to come over. He hasn't even – I haven't really seen him make any plays. Marshawn Lattimore, their defense has just been quiet.
Still have Cam Jordan.
Yeah, like you don't really see him making that many plays, and then kind of like you said with the offense, man, like no QB, no real direction with this team. Like they don't have any of their picks. The Eagles have their first round pick next year. It's like they're in limbo. It's like where do they go? And I don't think Dennis Allen has done things like other coaches down this list. So we'll get to that. Came into a kind of, a worse roster and, pointed them in a certain direction. So that's why I think Dennis Allen is at number 9.
Yeah, my number 8, I still question why this guy keeps getting coaching jobs. Josh McDaniels.
I don't have Josh McDaniels this low.
Oh, okay. 4-7. You saw Derek Carr crying at the press conference that one week.
Yeah.
Last week, Josh Jacobs, game of his life. They're able to get a win in overtime against the Seahawks just on the back of Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams making spectacular plays as well. But you come in, you get arguably the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. You got a quarterback who you paid an organization to come in and throw to his old college teammate, Josh Jacobs.
Who's played at an MVP level before in the NFL.
Yeah, he has too. He was questionably one year in the MVP race, if not top 3.
Until he got hurt. I think that was 2015, 16?
Yeah, and even last year he played decently well. He started off slow. Second half of the season, it came on playoff team. Take over a playoff team. You're sitting at 4-7. Tough division, so I'm gonna cut him some slack there. But Josh McDaniels as a head coach hasn't proved anything in the NFL and continuously gets hired. I got him at number 8.
Yeah, for me at number 8, I have Lovie Smith. And this is just like, the Texans aren't really good. They just need more talent. And, I think this ranking, he can definitely improve as the coach. But I just think he doesn't really have much to work with. I want to see what he can do, the next couple of years when, they have the Browns draft picks. So they'll have some, talent to bring in. Hopefully they can sign them to free agents. But just right now, the way this team is looking, they're arguably the worst team in the league. So I just have him at number 8. But I think they can get in the right direction. I just have to see if Lovie Smith is that guy to, help them get to that spot. But I got him at number 8 right now.
I thought about putting him higher as well because I don't have him at number 7 either. I got Todd Bowles at number 7.
That's who I got at number 7.
5-6 record. You got the quote-unquote GOAT at quarterback. I don't think this is all Todd Bowles' fault at the end of the day. Tom Brady has not been playing up to expectation. Offensive line has been banged up.
Yeah.
Injuries surrounding the team. Godwin's been in and out. Saw what Godwin did last week against the Browns. He was cooking. But when it comes down to it, he is a defensive-minded coach. Defense hasn't played bad football. Haven't played stellar.
No.
So at the end of the day, I think that's why he's kind of at that 7 spot. The only reason I put him towards the back end of the middle of the pack is just because of the talent he's working with. You mentioned Lovie Smith not really working with anything. Well, Todd Bowles is working with a much better roster. Yeah, I got him at number 7.
Yeah, I got Todd Bowles at number 7 as well. I think the Bucks collectively have taken a step back, and is it because of injuries? Yes, but I also just think they're missing. I'm blanking. No, what? Bruce Arians.
Oh yeah.
I think Bruce Arians. He was a big part being that overseer. Running that offense, which I still think they are running most of it, but he's just not in the room. And kind of like you said, he's a defensive guy. The defense is taking a step back. The last few years they've been, one of the best defenses in the league. Now, they're still a good defense, but I mean, like you said,
they're not top 5.
No, I mean, you just let Jacoby Brissett go down and put all those points up on you and, lose to the Browns in overtime. We saw what Mahomes did to him earlier this year. So I just think, but they still might win the division. That division's horrible, so that's a plus. That's why he's not, at the very, very bottom. But I just think, this roster, this coaching, top bowls in general, they're just underperforming. They should be a lot better than what they are right now.
So, I mean, before this season, before we move on, you talked about Jacoby Brissett. I wasn't really a firm believer. Obviously, last game starting, just want to say, bro, he did a good job as the Browns quarterback. I'm not putting
serviceable, bro.
Any, maybe one game, but you can't put the blame on him at the end of the day. Just want to say he was 7th in QBR to finish off that 12-game stretch, 11 games. So, shout out Jacoby, man. But number 6, I'm really not going to talk about it. The 9-1 Houston Texans, Lovie Smith. This is where I have him in this spot. Same reasons you talked about.
Yeah, and that's funny because number 6, I have Josh McDaniels, so we just switched them. I'm with you as well. The Raiders have been underperforming as well, but I mean, the offense at times it looks decent. Devontae Adams has a big game 2 weeks ago. Now this week, it's Josh Jacobs. So, the potential's there. The offense is there. They have trouble closing out those games. And I think Josh McDaniels, they just need to do a better job at, finding ways to win. Once that defense gets a little more talent, if your name isn't Max Crosby, I've said that multiple times on this show. I know I have. If your name's not Max Crosby, you're not doing anything on the Raiders defense. They just can't really get any pressure. Defense can't get any stops. Offense has been hit or miss. But like you said, coming into this year, along with the Broncos, we thought, the Raiders were going to be making some noise, a lock for the playoffs, But unfortunately, it hasn't gone that way. I think Josh McDaniels needs to do a better job for sure, but I don't think he's been one of the worst hirings considering it is all of these coaches' first year. So I think, down the road, this Raiders team could look a lot better. But like you said, as of now, they should be winning a lot more games than they are underperforming.
And what happened to Third and Renfro, man?
He's been injured, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he came back. I think he had an ankle sprain or something. Not sure. Injuries to kind of bang this team up with Darren Waller as well. I think Chandler Jones was injured, but he came back. He hasn't really done anything at all. So,
yeah, he hasn't done anything at all. Next up, number 5. Yeah, number 5.
Yeah.
I still don't know how to say his name. Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, I got Matt Eberflus as well at 5.
3-9 Chicago Bears, and obviously worse record than Todd Bowles and McDaniels. But at the end of the day, you got to deal with what you're working with, and that's just Justin Fields. They got Chase Claypool, got rid of Roquan Smith. Obviously lost to the defense, but they've been playing some competitive games. They've been in it. They've shown some heart. He hasn't really done anything too bad. I mean, they're calling up plays for Justin Fields to get mobile, get out of the pocket, play to his strengths. When you're a coach doing that, I mean, there's not much more you can do than what the product is on the field.
Yeah, I literally have Matt Eberflus ranked this high solely off of, Justin Fields' breakout, Halfway through the season, they came off that bye, and we saw what happened in New England. We talked about it on this show. They just unleashed Justin Fields. They let him, be himself. They schemed up some run plays for him, get him outside of the pocket, get him moving, and then now you see he's one of the premier rushing quarterbacks in this league. So you got to give that credit to Matt Eberflus, to say this is what we're going to do with the offense. This is how we want to change it during the season as well, because they could have easily, just said, let's just stick with this for the rest of the year, and we'll see what to do during the offseason. That's what it looks like Nathaniel Hackett is doing. The Broncos haven't really changed anything on offense, but Matt Eberflus goes into the bye week kind of using it how it's supposed to be used, and coming out the next week with this offense looking completely revamped. And like you said, they went out and got Claypool, kind of, trying to give Justin Fields more help, give him more help. And I think, Justin Fields keeps progressing the way he is. They draft well. They bring in some more help, bring in some guys. I think the Bears could be looking, be one of those teams that trying to make a run in the playoffs, or, make the playoffs within the next few seasons as everything keeps going the way it is.
Yeah, number 4, I got your boy Dougie P, man.
I have him number 4
That's
as
crazy.
well.
4 and 7. I really didn't think our list would be this accurate.
I didn't think it would either.
I thought it was way off. But I got Dougie P, man. You saw, I forget what player it was. He was talking about he died for Doug Peterson. I mean, came into a bad situation that Urban Meyer messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence really had no direction, no type of confidence, anything like that. So when it comes down to it, Doug Peterson's done a good job. I know they're 4-7, but last week Trevor Lawrence, game on the line, call up a game-winning drive, and then gutsy call going for 2 and it pays off.
Yeah,
Big win. He had the gutsy call in the Super Bowl, Philly special.
yeah.
You know he's gonna take risk, but he clearly does his homework when it comes down to it. So I got Doug Peterson at number 4.
Yeah, pretty much everything you said. I mean, this Jags team is still young, but I mean, Doug Peterson has coached well and had them in a lot of games this year, and kind of like you mentioned, that comeback win against the Ravens, which was big. And kind of like you mentioned, Trevor Lawrence has really made strides this year. This team has an optimistic future, and I think what we saw Doug Peterson do with Carson Wentz in Philadelphia, where he had that MVP season. We made the Super Bowl run. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is Carson Wentz, because right now I think Trevor Lawrence is a lot better, but they have a very similar skill set. Two big quarterbacks with arms that they can just throw the ball all over the field, and they're athletic. Trevor Lawrence can get out of the pocket. He can run kind of like Carson Wentz did. So I'm sure Doug Peterson is running a very similar offense, because both of these quarterbacks at the time had a very similar skill set. I do think Trevor Lawrence is, leaps and bounds above where Carson Wentz was, but overall, Doug Peterson has the Jags competing, and they're a fun team. They're young. They're heading in the right direction. Give Trevor, some better protection up front, a few more weapons, shore up the defense. They'll be all right.
Here, I feel like we flip-flopped number 3 and 2.
What about 1?
If you don't have him at 1, that's just wild. Brian Dable at number 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, we did flip. I don't have him at number 3. I have Kevin O'Connell.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
See, I thought so. Yeah, because Brian Dable, I mean, obviously working less. So Dable's 7-4. I got O'Connell at 2. You got a flip-flop. O'Connell 9-2. When it comes down to Dable, I mean, the Giants, nobody thought they'd be 7-4 at this point in the season. Daniel Jones looked a lot better. Play calling on Thursday, Thanksgiving, that kind of that primetime game. I know it's the 4 o'clock window, but that's when everyone really at the function, like they're watching football.
Yeah.
It comes down to it. Cowboys just played a better game on Thursday night, but I got them at the 3 spot. No one pictured him here. No one pictured Daniel Jones to kind of improve his career. And obviously he's feeding Saquon, which feeds to their strength, defense playing out their mind as well.
Yeah, at 3 I have Kevin O'Connell. I mean, these two are pretty much interchangeable. I think you couldn't go wrong either way. But, the Vikings are one of the best teams in the league right now. Only lost 2 games. This offense is clicking. We see Justin Jefferson taking those big strides. Kirk Cousins isn't having, one of his best seasons, but he's making plays when he needs to. The defenses look really good as well. Zadarius Smith coming over was a big help. And, I mean, the Vikings just a really good team this year. Not much else you can say. Kevin O'Connell's a big part of that, getting that offense going, scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Kirk Cousins having a Kirk Cousins season, middle of the pack QB, but they're 9-2. At the end of the day, you got 2 losses in the NFL, 11 games in. You can't complain. First year head coach, phenomenal job.
Yeah, and then with me, Brian Dable at number 2, I just look at they switched places kind of with the Broncos. Like this was a bottom 5 roster. No one thought anything was gonna come out of this, and kind of like I mentioned earlier with Dennis Allen, where there's really no direction, no QB, and they're kind of stuck in limbo. Well, Brian Dable came into pretty much arguably a worse situation where Daniel Jones, everyone was pretty much writing him off. Giants had no direction at all. Now we see, they're winning games. They're legit playoff contenders. Brian Dable's, helped Daniel Jones clean up the turnovers. He's playing his best football. They're feeding Saquon. He's running pretty good. And the offense is just clicking now. And the defense has been okay at times. But I think, really just look at what Daniel Jones has done, how he's pretty much turned his career around with Brian Dable, who was the one that pretty much made Josh Allen who Josh Allen is right now. Brian Dable was that offensive coordinator coaching him up. And now you see where he's not in Buffalo anymore. Josh Allen's right back to turning the ball over, leading the league in interceptions. So it's kind of interesting. And I just think Brian Dable's doing a really good job. He's got these guys believing. And Giants have a bright future.
Number one, man, the unanimous choice, Mike McDaniel. It's so inspirational. But at the end of the day, he is. Beginning of the Dolphins game, they talked about Tua's confidence leading up, and they said he was really vulnerable. He talked about it. He asked himself, should I be in the NFL last year? Am I good enough? Stuff like that. Obviously, Brian Flores didn't want him there. They wanted Deshaun. They were trying to move on. McDaniel comes in and says, you're the guy. Turned on apparently like an hour of Tua tape, and he like showed him his own film. He was like, look what you could do. And look what the man could do. I mean, come on. You got Tyreek Hill leading the league in receiving yards. You got Jalen Waddle, arguably top 5. They're the top 10 maybe. Wherever you put him, they're obviously probably the best receiving duo in the NFL. Jeff Wilson, he goes and gets his guy from San Fran. He's running the brakes off the last couple of weeks. The defense really started slow. They're creating turnovers now, and they're making plays when they need to. You just got this team playing as a unit. They got them playing together. And as a head coach, sometimes that's all you could do is just get those guys on the same page, get them to buy in. Sometimes you just need those guys to buy in. And with Flores, they weren't really bought in. So McDaniel turned that around, sitting at 8-3. In every game, Tua has started and finished. They're 8-0. So
Yeah, I mean, just agreeing with you, Mike McDaniel at 1. And to me, coming into Miami, this was kind of like, like a dream situation for a coach. I know McDaniel was hired before Tyreek Hill and everyone came in, but this was before we've seen them play any football. And I think he's even elevated that to this being, one of the best teams in the league. You saw it, touched on how he kind of, got Tua back his confidence. He's pretty much revived his career. Everyone was writing him off last year, saying, is he a backup? He's going to be another Andy Dalton. Like, that's his ceiling. Like, and then, he brings in over that West Coast San Francisco 49ers offense. And he's just scheming up, one of the most explosive, if not the most explosive offense in the league. You got Hill and Waddle on the outside, kind of like you mentioned, Wilson running up the middle. And he's just super, super creative with how he, gets everyone involved and how he calls plays. One thing I noticed is, the Dolphins, that offense, is they have so much speed, so much talent on the outside, but, they're rarely ever in shotgun. They're rarely ever in, 3 receiver sets. They, come down, line up like they're going to run the ball, and they run it, and the next thing you know, there's a play action, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle running past your defense, and they're throwing the ball down the field for 40 yards. So they just have so many ways to attack you. Mike McDaniel has done an excellent job, scheming that offense up, figuring out ways to attack defenses differently, and they're one of the best teams in the league, best offense in the league. I got Mike McDaniel at 1.
And I'm not sure if this is the exact accurate number, but I know it's somewhere up there. They run a motion pre-snap, I think, over 80% of the time. So, obviously, I don't see them get that many delayed games, so they got to be quick with the play calls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It goes into Mike McDaniel and also helps Tua kind of see the coverage, see what they're running, and it helps out a young quarterback when you can do that. So, I mean, that covers our top 10 coaches, new coaches of the NFL this season. Definitely closer on the lineups than I thought we would be. But once again, unanimous, Mike McDaniel, number 1. Enough.
Nick Sirianni last year over Mike McDaniel.
Sirianni B2, but I'm not even going to hate, bro. Like, he's done a great job, but...
Man, you saw that locker room speech showing a lot of heart, man. Shout out my dog Quez, got the game ball.
I told you send Quez to Cleveland, but
I
think I said it last week. I mean, they could,
then he
but
scored.
we're going to talk about the Browns later on and all that. Your Eagles and the Dolphins. But Thursday Night Football, man. AFC East matchup this late in the year. I mean, as someone that's a fan of the AFC East, a team in the AFC East, I like this, bro. Bills, Pats, Thursday night in Foxborough. Josh Allen making that travel to hostile territory. You mentioned Josh Allen's picks, stuff like that. I do see a game where the Pats could win this and Bill Belichick just scheme this up, how he always does. At the end of the day, I just think Stephon Diggs, I'm calling a big day from him. or Gabe Davis. I mean, either one. One of those receivers on the outside, they're going to have a big day. Josh Allen's going to look like Josh Allen of past. I just think it's one of those games Thursday night. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I got the Bills on the road.
I'm not mad at it, but I think these two teams are a lot closer than people realize. I mean, last week we saw Josh Allen almost lose to the Lions. That game came down to the wire. And then we saw what the Patriots did to the Lions earlier this season. And also last week, Mac Jones, even though the Patriots lost, he had arguably the best game of his career. Threw for over, I think he had like 370 yards or something like that. He looked finally healthy coming off that ankle sprain. He was zipping the ball all over the field. So if Mac Jones is playing like that, he's moving the ball like he was against the Vikings defense, who is a good defense in the league. They got some talent, Like I mentioned, Zadarius Smith has had a good year. Patrick Peterson looking like he turned the clock back a few years. So Mac Jones was able to get it done. I just think it comes down to Bill Belichick being at home, making Josh Allen, forcing him into one too many mistakes. He's going to turn the ball over. They're in that, that gunslinger offense. He's throwing the ball everywhere. I think he makes one too many mistakes. Patriots on the other side, they don't really make mistakes. They're coached well. Mac Jones is not going to turn the ball over a lot. We'll see a lot of Ramondre Stevenson. They'll run the ball with him. And you said those two receivers could have a big game, but Patriots secondary has been pretty good. Jack Jones been playing good. They got McCourty, veteran safety over the top. So I think they'll do enough to keep the Bills controlled. Josh Allen makes one too many mistakes, and the Patriots, sneak one out at home against a tough division opponent. But like you said, I could see the Bills winning. I think it's going to be a good game. We finally get a good game on Thursday night. It'll be a good one.
We're saying that, bro, but watch what happens. But I'm not mad at it.
It's going to be like 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to be like 10 degrees.
It's going to be like 12 passes.
It's going to be like the game they had last year when Mac Jones threw the ball twice.
Won.
Yeah. When Mac Jones threw the ball like 2 times and they just ran it. It's going to be just like that.
Oh, my gosh. That was the worst game of football anybody's had to ever watch. Next game up, you got the Packers traveling to Soldier Field in Chicago against the Bears. Who's the QB for Chicago? Don't really know.
Who's the QB for Green Bay?
Don't really know that either. And at the end of the day, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, I think they finally figured it out. Maybe if we want to win football games, let's get this two-headed monster involved. And last week, did they ever get it involved? Aaron Jones, who's a great runner, but he's also a great pass catcher. A.J. Dillon's no pass-catching slouch, but, I mean, that man can run downhill like anybody in the league. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, the Bears, they really struggle sometimes at either scoring or stopping offenses. And when it comes down to it, I think they just get both AJs involved. And the Packers kind of, Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers, just control the ball, don't turn it over.
Yeah, the biggest reason I picked the Packers is because of the question mark with the Bears. If they're fucking throwing Nathan Peterman back out there again, like
no, I don't. He didn't play.
Oh, he didn't?
No. So
what was it?
It was.
They named him as a starter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not tuned into Chicago football.
Nah, I turned it on the red zone, man, and I didn't see Peterman unless Scott Hansen told me false information. Shout out Scott, man, but it was. They said because whoever was supposed to start the game got hurt. But I think he ended up playing. It wasn't Peterman. Trevor Siemian was the quarterback.
Oh, Trevor Siemian. I mean,
either way,
you might as well just say Nathan Peterman.
A little bit better of a career. Nah, Nathan Peterman was a joke.
Trevor Siemian, that's a funny name. I haven't heard that one in a while. Bet you Denver wish they still had him.
Brock the Rock.
Give me the Packers, bro. I don't know.
Next game up, man. Steelers coming off of a Monday night win against the Atlanta Falcons. Picking against the Steelers, Najee Harris, he's banged up. Not sure if he's going to play. George Pickens had a nice grab Monday night. They're playing the Colts. They just looked lost. They looked absolutely lost. Anybody not named Jonathan Taylor was lost. When it comes down...
Pittman had a decent game.
No, he did. But I mean, Matt Ryan at quarterback once again. I don't really know what they're doing. Jeff Saturday had terrible clock management end of the game.
Yeah.
Just shows you, it's growing pains with him. But I was like, what just happened? But I got the Falcons. I know they've lost a couple in a row. They were playing good football in the beginning of the year. They really have nobody. They got a rotating room of running backs that are in and out. Mariota, you know what he's going to do. I just see in the Superdome, they're able to squeeze one out. Just don't let Benny Snell go crazy.
Yeah, I think the Steelers' defense in this game will just be able to single-handedly carry them into a win. TJ Watt, another game under his belt, healthy. We'll see him get going. And this defense just makes plays, gives the ball to Kenny Pickett in plus territory to where all he has to do is just, not turn it over. And he's been okay with that as of late. I know he started off turning the ball over a lot, but they've cut back on the turnovers a little bit. So they'll probably have a touchdown. There'll probably be like 1 or 2 touchdowns scored in this game. The rest will just be a bunch of field goals. And I think the Steelers' defense will kind of prove to be too much for the Falcons to handle. So I got the Steelers on the road picking up a decent win.
Yeah, next game up. Talked about Mike White earlier. The Jets travel to Minnesota against, the Vikings in Skullland. I got the Vikings 9-2. Mike White played good last week. Like to see that involvement from Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. Expect them to do some similar things on offense. The defense playing well, obviously. I just think the Vikings got too much. Jay Jets on the outside. Adam Thielen starting to look a lot better, and him and Kirk are back on that same page. And then you obviously got the two-headed monster in Minnesota themselves with Dalvin Cook and Alex Madison. Not really a monster, but they're a good running back duo. I just think it's too much for the Jets to handle. Mike White's second game. Vikings know what to expect. They're going to turn the tape on and get a win.
I think, the opposite is what's gonna happen. I think this Jets defense will prove just to be a little too much for the Vikings. Pass rush is coming alive. Quentin Williams making some big plays. Jermaine Johnson, the rookie's been stepping up. Those linebackers led by C.J. Mosley have just been flying all over the field. And then Sauce and DJ Reed have been arguably the two best corners duo in the league so far this year. You got Joyner over the top. I just think this Jets defense is very, very complete, and they can play with any offense in the league right now. And kind of like you said, Mike White, he's been hot. That confidence is clicking. The receivers are feeling good. They're getting the ball. Run game look decent. So I think, the Vikings could kind of come in and just not really expect the Jets to be this good. And I think the Jets could, punch them in the mouth early, and they run away with this one. So I'm going to pick the Jets on the road, man.
Next game up, Jacksonville Jaguars after late game heroics, man. They're playing against the Lions, who almost had some late game heroics of their own in Detroit against the Lions. I got the Jags here just mainly because I like the way they played at the end of the game. They kind of played with a lot of confidence. Not saying that the Lions don't, but they're both similar teams in my mind, really. The Lions kind of want a draft pick. They're in that limbo state of the season, not really as a team, but like the season, they're not really playing to win, but I mean, they play with a lot of heart. Obviously, Dan Campbell coached team. Jamal Williams somehow leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Still don't know how that is. But just that late game, Jacksonville being able to drive down the field. I know it was against the Ravens, who've blown so many fourth quarter leads. But T. Law looked like he found a groove late in the game, carry a little momentum. They get a big dub on the road, and not really shock them because they're two similar teams, but they get the dub against the Lions.
I think the Lions at home are a very different team. Now, if this was in Jacksonville, I'd probably be leaning the Jags. But I mean, the Lions have been they've been solid at home. They went toe to toe with the Eagles in Week 1. They just barely almost pulled off a win against the Bills, who are one of the best teams in the league. Last week, the Lions score points at home. I think this will be a shootout, but I just think it comes down to Jared Goff being a little more experienced than Trevor Lawrence and just scoring more points at home. So I'll take the Lions.
St. Brown was looking nice last week too. Next game up, Tennessee Titans playing your Philadelphia Eagles. And for some reason, I feel like these two teams should be switched with our picks. I got the Eagles. I know what you're going to say about the run game. Derrick Henry, obviously Eagles' weakness. But at the end of the day, I just don't see too much from the Titans other than Derrick Henry. I just don't think it's going to be enough after the way Miles Sanders was able to run last week. That he was running off. Jalen Hurts, obviously a mobile QB. I think the Eagles kind of showed that they can control pace of game here in this week because the Titans are going to be trying to do the same exact thing with Derrick Henry controlling the pace of the game, controlling the clock, time of possession. But I think the Eagles show, especially after last week, that they got guys of their own that can run the ball and control the tempo, and they could play at the pace that they want to play at. So I'm finally giving credit to your Eagles here.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, but I just think the Titans figure out a way to win in Philly. Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the league, one of the most physical, imposing running backs, and I just think he'll be too much for this defense to handle is what it comes down to. Might get Jordan Davis back. Hopefully that'll be huge if we do, but still, it's his first week back. He's a rookie. How well will he be playing? C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's out for a few games. He has a kidney injury, I think lacerated kidney. But I just think the Eagles won't be – I don't think we're going to be able to run the ball as much as we did against the Packers, who are one of the worst run defenses in the league. Colts are a little bit better. They got Jeffrey Simmons up the middle. They got some linebackers that'll come down and, fill those gaps. So the only way I see the Eagles winning this game is if Jalen Hurts has a great game passing. We're going to have to throw the ball – kind of like what Joe Burrow did last game to beat the Titans. He aired it out, threw it up to his receivers, gave T. Higgins some chances to go make plays, and I think we have that opportunity. Throw it out, throw it down there. We got 3 receivers more than capable of being able to make those plays. But at the end of the day, I just think Derrick Henry and this offense will just be too much for this Eagles defense to handle. They've taken a step back ever since that Colts game. And even then, Colts aren't one of the best offenses. Since that Commanders game, man, since Jordan Davis has been out, defense hasn't really looked as good, and it's literally just been Jalen Hurts in this offense winning us games. I don't think we'll be able to overcome, Derrick Henry running downhill and then Tannehill getting into that play action, getting comfortable to where he just has to hit, Traylon Burks over the middle or get Austin Hooper involved. He's been kind of catching light lately. So I just think Derrick Henry in this run game just gives us too many problems, and we drop one at home, unfortunately.
Don't say that. Austin Hooper's been catching light. He's not going to be catching it for long, I'll tell you that much. But
he's been getting involved, man.
Man, fan of two teams, both of them. I was going to say I'm looking forward to this game more than the Dolphins game. But both the Dolphins more of the matchup base, but this one just because the Browns finally get their guy, bro. The guy they paid $200 million to come play quarterback and lead this team. They get Deshaun Watson back playing against his former team, the Houston Texans. Obviously, going to be some growing pains. Hasn't played football in 2 years. I understand that. But Deshaun Watson was brought here to win the Cleveland Browns a Super Bowl, or at least put them as contenders for a Super Bowl. So I'm expecting him. Texans, not really that great of a team. I know some guys probably play with the chip on their shoulder, although it's not really his fault he left. But at the end of the day, I think Deshaun Watson against a subpar roster is going to be good enough to get it done. You got a run game. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt was running guys over last week. David Njoku making one-handed game-winning, game-saving catches, man. Shout out to you. Amari Cooper, he had a big drop on 4th down late in the game, came back in overtime with a 50-yard reception. And for the first time, Tom Brady, he was 281-0 when leading by 7+ points with less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. And now is his first loss. So the Browns, Njoku said, don't count us out yet. I don't know if that's true. Defense finally stepped up. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know why they were hugging Joe Woods after the game, though. Probably has nothing to do with it.
He just saved his job for a few more weeks.
See, bro, he does this every time, bro. You're like, oh, maybe he could do something. And then probably this week, Kyle Allen's going to look like Josh Allen, but he did a good job because Martin Emerson was following Mike Evans the whole game. And Martin Emerson, rookie cornerback, he played phenomenal against the Bengals in primetime. And last week against the Buccaneers, stepped up, basically shut down Mike Evans the whole game. They were targeting him, and Emerson was on an island with him one-on-one. Joe Woods finally dials up that man coverage. Emerson comes to play, and then obviously other side you got Denzel, Newsome, and Greedy both banged up. I think Greedy just got benched too, to be honest. But either way, Emerson stepped up big time. Got the Browns winning on the road. I think the Browns might have like one more home game the rest of the season. So it's a tough schedule down the stretch, but hopefully you get it pushing in the right direction.
Yeah. If there's ever such thing as a trap game for a 4-7 team, I think this has it written all over it. And I'm going to pick the Texans at home, man. Kind of like what you said, Deshaun Watson coming in. There's just a lot of noise around this Browns team right now. How good is Deshaun Watson going to look in his, first real game in, 2 years? He hasn't played football. So I think he'll need to get his feet back wet. Texans, like you mentioned, they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. His former team, they kind of know how Deshaun Watson plays. So I think it'll be a good game, but I just think the Texans, pull off the upset. Spoil Deshaun Watson's homecoming.
Yeah.
But, the Browns could easily win.
Oh, they should easily win. Because even if Deshaun is not playing well, you just tell him not to turn the ball over. The Texans are not a good team at all.
No,
you should
just run over him.
Yeah, and the only offense the Texans have is running the football. So if you lead like the Dolphins did and just put them trailing the whole game, they can't hand the ball off. So, but once again, I do agree it could be a trap game. Next game up, Washington Commanders travel to New York against the Giants. And I'm not sure. We talked about Brian Dable. Yeah, I figured you'd do this. I figured you'd do it. Changing your pick. I'm still rocking with my guy, Taylor Heineke. For some reason, the Commanders they've been getting it done just somehow, some way, finding ways to win football games. Obviously, I think last week they didn't really play anybody.
Falcons.
The Falcons.
Yeah, and they won on a game-saving interception.
Yeah. The Giants, they're banged up with injuries right now, offensive line. I think Andrew Thomas was the only starter that played for him last week.
Yeah, and Micah Parsons gave him hell.
He definitely did. But I just got the Commanders, division rivals in New York, upset on the road. Just kind of want to see it. I see it going the Giants' way, though, as well.
Yeah. You know what? I was flip-flopping in between picks, but I think I'm going to stay with the Commanders, actually. Like you mentioned, the injuries on the Giants are just a little too much right now. I think both of their starting corners were out last week. And then, like you mentioned, Andrew Thomas, the only one on the O-line. It's going to be tough, everyone in this division is playing good football. The Commanders are hot right now. You know what? Fuck it, bro. I'm going to just stay with the Giants, bro. Fuck it, bro. I'll just leave it. I already got them. Give me the Giants. Tough game. Saquon Barkley breaks off a good run. Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over. They find a way to win at home. I'll stick with the Giants. It could go either way. Both of these teams are playing good football right now. Tough division, and I think they play again in 2 weeks. But give me the Giants.
Next game up, I don't have too much to say. Denver Broncos in Baltimore against the Ravens. I got the Ravens. One thing I do want to say, all of the Ravens' losses, they were up in the fourth quarter, and their defense blew the game. That's all I'm gonna say. I think it was the Dolphins, obviously last week, and then every game they were up in the fourth quarter, and they find a way to blow it on a defensive end.
Yeah. I don't think they'll blow this game just because the Broncos won't be able to score points. Lamar Jackson, he's been playing okay. A few drops last week, too, that kind of hurt the Ravens. But at home, I really think they're missing their running backs. J.K. Dobbins has been injured. Gus Edwards, he's been banged up. It's been hard for them to get that run game going outside of Lamar Jackson. That's what the Ravens do best. But luckily, all they have to do is just score more points than the Broncos, which a lot of teams have been able to do this year. So I think the Ravens are a better team, and there'll be another team on that list to score more points than the Broncos offense. So I'm going to have the Ravens at home.
Next one up, I mean, this is arguably my game of the week right here. Miami Dolphins travel to San Francisco. Mike McDaniel's return back to home where he started his career. I mean, I'm going with the Dolphins. You know I am. Question mark on the offensive line. Teron Armstead, pectoral injury. Will he be playing? I'm being so serious because when the Texans, after Armstead left the game, I think Tua was like hit like in 4 straight plays and maybe sacked 3 in a row. It was ugly for Tua. He was bent. Like, you thought he could have been injured pretty bad. It did not look good with him out. So that's something they probably have to fix. Obviously, full week ahead, Mike McDaniel's going to be prepared, but you're going to move Bosa around, try to mismatch him with that Armstead out. So, if he is a pectoral strain, I was reading that it'll probably be 1 to 2 weeks, but he'll be back at some point this season. Just don't know when. Just got Mike McDaniel out coaching right here. He's scheming against his former team. He knows his defense. He knows the exact offense that they run. It's really just going to be a showdown. I think it's going to be a good football game. Could go either way. Dolphins undefeated when Tua starts and finishes games, so why not make it 9?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you said here, and this is going to be a tough game. It's like the Dolphins, first real task since they beat Buffalo back early in the year. This 49ers defense just shut the Saints out. They're the best defense in the league right now. Like you said, Bosa's playing good football. Fred Warner, is he the best linebacker in the league? And then they got Chardavius Ward playing good on the outside. Both of the corners are playing good. Secondary is coming together. It's going to be tough, but ultimately we saw good offense come into Candlestick Park. I don't even know if they still play there, but come into San Francisco and put up points like the Chiefs did, gave this defense, some issues. And I think the Dolphins' offense is on par with the Chiefs, so I can see them doing the same thing. I think Tyreek Hill makes a big play. Jalen Waddle had one big catch. Little just too much for Jimmy G in this offense to overcome. And I think the Dolphins can pull one off on the road. And I want the Niners to lose because they're like the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC. So another loss won't hurt them.
Yeah, man. It hasn't been named Candlestick since 2013, considering they moved entire stadiums. But that was funny that you said it.
The cap, man.
And I had to look at it, bro. But, that was iconic. I think they destroyed it. Yeah. But, man.
Oh, it's Levi Stadium now.
Yeah,
Levi Stadium.
I was going to say, but R.I.P. Candlestick. Y'all had a lot of memories there.
Candlestick Park.
It's crazy that you just pitched that off the dome, bro, because that was wild. Moving on. I can't even pull up the schedule. There we go. Seahawks travel to L.A. at SoFi Stadium against the Rams, who no longer playing St. Louis, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
But the Seahawks lost a heartbreaker. OT, Josh Jacobs, field day, absolute field day. 200 rushing yards, 70-plus receiving. Here, I just got the Seahawks. Geno Smith, who's in your MVP conversation. The Rams dead last in offensive efficiency. I really don't know what to say about them. I'd put them as the most disappointing team in the NFL.
Yeah, the Rams are pretty much just done with the season. They shut down Stafford. Going to shut down Cooper Kupp. There's no reason for them to come back and play. Seahawks are playing really good football, man. The Rams aren't. I know, like you said, they coming off a tough loss. The Rams don't have anyone on the offense as near as good as Josh Jacobs or Derek Carr or Devontae Adams, so they don't have to worry about any of that. They're playing the Rams, the worst offense in the league right now. So, give me the Seahawks, man.
Does Aaron Donald come back next season?
Should have fucking retired. I know that's what he's thinking. He's like, shit, it's just like this. I should stay my ass home, bro. Like, I got my Super Bowl ring.
Sits out the rest of the season and comes back. I don't know. That's up to him. I'm not Aaron Donald. So, next game up, the other team that plays in SoFi, they travel to Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. I think the Raiders playing. I don't expect Josh Jacobs to go for 300 plus scrimmage yards.
But if there's a team he'd do it against again, it'd be the Chargers
because their defense is severely lacking.
James Conner was running all over him.
Yeah, no doubt. They almost lost. Austin Eckler scored that late game touchdown, but they got Keenan Allen back. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams still up there. Josh Palmer's playing good football. But at the end of the day, when you have Austin Eckler, he's just out there being a machine.
Yeah.
And just trustworthy. And you still got Justin Herbert, who is finally, I'm starting to think he hit his stride, because I really think that rib injury severely not peaked his performance, but
it hindered him.
Yeah, it hindered his performance for sure, and his ability to just really throw the ball on time and accurate. Now. Yeah, so I do feel like he's finally there at that point where he's looked like Herbert that we expect him to be. And when it comes down to the Raiders, you never know which Raiders you're going to get. So if they pull off the win, like you said, running the football against this Chargers team that right now is lacking defense in all aspects, rushing, passing.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders pull it off. But I got the Chargers on the road in Las Vegas with the dub.
Yeah, and this comes down to kind of like what you just mentioned, man. Herbert just looks healthy, and I was, watching some of the clips from the game yesterday, and some of these throws Justin Herbert is making, like, if you ask me, he's like right now he has like just like the best ball in the league. Man, like in that game, I think it was on a touchdown he threw. I mean, they just Cardinals sent the all-out blitz, and Herbert just stands in the pocket. He's retreating, taking a few steps back. And it's like, all right, is he going to throw this ball away? Like, what's going to happen? He takes a shot and just puts the ball on a fucking laser right to the receiver. And it's like, how does he throw the ball like that where he's being tackled, he's going backwards, and yet it looks like the ball looks like it was in a clean pocket, no one around him, and he's just going through his reads. Justin Herbert, he's looking healthy. And kind of like what he did last season, man, I think he can just backpack this team. He's that good of a talent. The way he throws the ball and just how he delivers it to the receivers. And like you said, Eckler's always there. Another play, they sent a blitz, all-out blitz. Eckler ran a little angle route out of the backfield. He was right there for Herbert. Easy check down, first down. That connection those two got is, one of the most underrated in the league. He has like almost 80 receptions, I think. Austin Eckler is 70, some crazy number like that. So Herbert loves to look at him out the backfield. And I think this will be a good game, but Justin Herbert's playing really, really good football. And like you said, he's healthy. So give me the Chargers.
And on that 2-point conversion, he threw to Gerald Everett. There was no chance I thought that ball got through. I rewatched the replay like 3 times thinking how it got past everybody, but it did.
Yeah. He's been hot, man. He's completing passes, throwing the ball down the field, checking it down, making all the right reads. So Herbert's coming to life, man. Chargers could try to make a little playoff push here.
Next game up, Kansas City Chiefs. They're traveling to Cincinnati against the Bengals. Just talked about the Bengals' tough schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than the Kansas City Chiefs. So,
not at all.
I mean, Pat Mahomes mentioned Isaiah Pacheco getting it going. Andy Reid coached team. It's just, when you line up against Patrick Mahomes, it's so hard. I think Joe Burrow might be having PTSD from, like, the AFC Championship. And I know the Bengals beat them, but I just think Patrick Mahomes is going to get his lick back here and show Joe Burrow why he's the better QB.
Yeah, especially now, just the way the Chiefs are playing, bro. It's just so hard to see, a way they lose with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. He just wins games. He makes the right plays, doesn't turn the ball over, and it's kind of like, I don't know if I was talking to you about this, but like what Brady used to do, it's like if Brady had the ball in his hands, clock coming down, it's like you just know, like they're going to score, they're going to make a play, they're going to win. And Patrick Mahomes has that same, those same intangibles. The ball's in Patrick Mahomes' hands, you have a chance. If Travis Kelce is on the field, Patrick Mahomes is going to find him. I just think that connection just continues to be one of the best, if not the best in the NFL. And in a good game, the Chiefs just figure out a way to win. Probably on a Mahomes to Kelce touchdown.
We did talk about it I think it was last week, the Brady Mahomes. Yeah. We talked about it on air. But you said it just perfectly. might beat Kelsey game-winning touchdown again.
It might be.
Again. Next game up, Sunday Night Football. I don't know why they got him playing 2 back-to-back primetime weeks. The Indianapolis Colts travel to Dallas, Jerry's World, play the Cowboys. Look, man, if it's not JT getting it going or Matt Ryan maybe thinking he turned it back to 2017, just give me the Cowboys. They're clicking on all cylinders on offense. Micah Parsons, big week last week. The defense is stepping up in big moments in games. You got CeeDee Lamb, who arguably made the best no catch in the NFL last week.
Yeah, that was a crazy catch in the back of the end zone.
You would have thought he had no chance.
Bro, he had like 3 one-hand catches that game.
But Tony Pollard, he was having big weeks before, didn't really last week. Zeke, he started eating last week, was running all over the Giants' defense. Expect more of the same. I know the Colts got a better front maybe right now, but at the end of the day, got the Cowboys at home, prime time.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what the Steelers just did to the Colts on defense last night, and I don't think it'll be any different with the Cowboys. You got another great pass rusher. Michael Parsons, if not the best pass rusher in the league. He's hot. Trayvon Diggs is playing good football on the outside. He's hot. The offense is getting going. Dak doing enough, hitting the receivers when he needs to, but that run game is carrying them. It's looking like 2015 when Dak was a rookie and they won like 13 games or some shit. It was the run game. Zeke had his best year, and now it's Tony Pollard having his best year. Run game just carrying that offense, man. And Cowboys looking like one of the best teams in the league right now. So I don't see the Colts getting in the way, and I think defense puts on a show and the offense scores a lot of points at home. Give me the Cowboys.
It'll be scary if Zeke can kind of turn it up like Pollard has, because he's been banged up and slow. But last week, you saw that old Zeke, man, when he was wearing that crop top. That's what I was thinking. Did the NFL like ban him from wearing that or something?
Probably got tired of getting hit in the stomach. Like, I don't know. Like, shit hurts.
Bro, I don't think a jersey's doing much, but the Saints.
Nah, you sleep, bro. That shit hit your skin, dog.
I mean, it probably. I wouldn't know. So, Saints.
Tell you.
Saints, Bucks, Monday Night Football. Just, I don't think preseason, when they made the schedule, they're probably like, all right, late in the season, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Little did they know, both teams under 500.
Yeah. Somehow
the Bucks at the first of their division. Bucks, Saints, Andy Dalton, Red Rifle. We were making jokes. We saw a clip of Deshaun Kaiser's he was on a podcast. He said, let me stop trying to be like Andy Dalton. And you were like, who wants to be like Andy Dalton?
Why is he watching Andy Dalton?
But Andy Dalton was that guy back in the day with A.J. Green when he first came onto the scene. They thought Andy Dalton had potential, and then obviously it diminished pretty quickly.
Deshaun Kaiser came way after Andy Dalton's like prime.
I don't really think so,
Deshaun
bro.
Kaiser got drafted in like 2015, 2016.
Yeah. Well,
Andy Dalton got drafted in what, like 2011, I think? 2009? It might be before that.
Bro, but you forget Andy Dalton was leading the Bengals to the playoffs.
Yeah, long before Deshaun Kaiser came along.
I mean, maybe like 1 year. 2011, Andy Dalton's drafted.
Yeah.
I think Deshaun was like 2014, maybe.
It's like 15.
I type in Deshaun Kaiser. Someone says, what happened to Deshaun Kaiser?
It's a good question.
Damn, it was 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
Even later, bro. Like, why are you watching Andy Dalton in 2017? Was he fucking on the Cowboys then or some shit, bro?
Nah, he's still on the Bengals, I think. Maybe he was just cooking the Browns so hard. He's like, I gotta be like him.
Yeah,
but I think
any quarterback looked good against the Browns that year, so I can't blame him.
I think he was referring to what used to be the prototypical stereotype of a quarterback standing in the pocket and just throwing the football, because it's not like he was mobile. Deshaun Kaiser was a mobile QB.
Yeah.
So he talked about on the podcast. It was a really good listen. I actually listened to, I think, 30 minutes of that last night after you sent me that clip. Because, I don't know, I like Deshaun Kaiser. Obviously, his career didn't pan out. But other than that, Saints,
Irish,
Bucks. Just give me the Bucks, bro. Tom Brady's not losing 2 in a row.
Yeah, and I'm sticking with what I said a few weeks ago, man. Eagles have the Saints first round pick. Our Saints just should keep losing. Give me the Bucks. Both of these teams aren't good. Saints suck. I don't really care. Saints keep losing. Give us a high draft pick, man. Will Anderson to Philadelphia on the way, man.
Anyways, so I mean that concludes our week 13 picks. I do want to say today is Tuesday. Shout out Christian Pulisic, Team USA, man. He sacrificed his life for us.
It's called soccer.
Just to move on. It is called soccer. You saw like the memes, like he was gonna score and pull up his shirt. It's like it's called soccer. It's not football. But hey, man, USA. We never watched soccer. I'm watching soccer. Smash that Team USA money line. It finally hit. Smashing it till they get eliminated. I think they play like the Netherlands or something next. I don't know. Let me see. But no, we really don't need to talk about soccer. But this only happens every 4 years.
Damn, Bogdanovich played today.
How about Bobo, bro? I want to talk about that, bro. Paulo Banchero said that, they're talking about Wemby or however you say his name in the upcoming draft. Yeah, Saturday, 10 a.m. Go USA. But, I mean, I was watching clips of that Bobo. This man was through the leg, step back, pull up 3 with a hand up. I was like, oh my. He's literally 7'2", making that. If Bobo can just have a slight of that, he doesn't need all of that, what he was doing, because that was absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you could do that, bro, you pair that with Paulo, Cole Anthony. I mean, the Magic for the first time in a while. Jalen Suggs.
Franz Wagner,
little white boy.
Shout out to them.
I mean, it could be something nice.
They got talent.
Bobo was kind of counted out. I mean, he was drafted. He got traded out of Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't really found a home. I think he might have found a home. He has teammates that believe in him, like Paulo, who's also been hooping. He's been banged up, though. I think fully healthy, man. That Magic team and that front court could be scared with Paulo and Bobo out there. And they're also missing, aren't they missing someone else?
Jonathan Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac.
He hasn't played in years, but, I mean, when he's healthy, he's a defensive player of the year candidate.
Yeah, I think they've been banged up.
They have, yeah. Jalen Suggs, I think he's coming
back.
back.
I think Markelle Fultz is making his return. Mo Bamba's out.
Yeah, but, I mean, you don't really need Mo Bamba when you got Bobo playing the way he is.
I mean, you get Bobo checked down and you got Mo Bamba coming in there. Like, come on, dude. Like, you just obviously didn't work with the Timberwolves trying to throw Cat and Gobert out there, so I don't expect
Cat just got hurt.
Yeah, he did. But I saw a clip. It was like Cat posting up. He gets, like, ripped. Gobert gets it.
I saw that.
It was the ugliest. They both just trying to back down.
Like a full offensive possession. They're the only two that touched the ball, bro. Give it to fucking Ant Edwards, bro. Give it to the thug. Did you see that clip of him playing Madden?
Nah.
You didn't see it? Oh, I'll send it to you, bro. It's like gone super viral. Bro, it's the dude like Madden God that like plays standing up and like screams at it. Yeah, he played him and fucking Ant Edwards was whooping him, just talking shit the whole time, bro. Just fucking like, bro.
If you talking about the dude that like be sweating in his videos, right?
Yes, him. Yeah, he played Anthony Edwards and Anthony Edwards was killing him, bro. Jigga caught a pick 6, like 100-yard pick 6, where he's just talking hella shit. Like if it was like no context, you just think like he's just playing some random ass black dude, definitely from Atlanta, because you could tell from his accent. But Anthony Edwards just going fucking crazy, bro, yelling in the mic and shit, bro. It was fucking hilarious, bro.
We know what Ant Edwards is capable of, man.
He's fucking hilarious.
Nah, Ant Edwards is a comedian, bro. If basketball ever goes wrong, bro, he's got a career in something. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
it might be rapping according to him, but I think it's comedy.
Definitely is, bro. Give him a little skit, throw him in there with like Drewski or Desi Banks, bro. That'll be alright.
You probably fit better with Desi Banks than Drewski, because you know Desi Banks turn me up parlay. I mean, as far as NBA news, I know Bam, he's been going off lately for the Heat. Been catching a couple of those games.
Abdemayo.
Yeah, shout out Flight, man. FTC, Palm Beach legend. Right now, I mean, Luka's trying to put a team on his back as always. I was watching, I think it was like last week on Wednesday, playing the Celtics. They were down like a dub. Luka had 40. What do you want the man to do? Drop 60? Like, I think he's like,
yeah, Luka's going crazy, bro. But they just need some more pieces around him, bro. They don't really have anything like to help him. They got rid of Brunson. Brunson left and got his bag in New York. He's been hooping, but for the Dallas, it's like Luka, and then what else? Like Christian Wood, he's like been inconsistent. He's not the best player. They got was it Reggie Bullock? He's playing defense or just sitting in the corner on offense. He's not really bringing anything.
Is Dorian Finney-Smith still there?
Yeah. UF legend, man.
Yeah, 6 man. He was always
Spencer Dinwiddie's not really helping. Like,
nah, not at all. What's crazy about Dorian Finney-Smith? He was 6 man on that Gators team like his whole career, and he's the only one from that Gators roster that actually made it to the league. Because I can name it was like Scotty Wilbekin, Casey Prather, will you get like Patrick Young, something like that, bro. That Gators team that made that run. Dorian Finney-Smith was on. I mean, he's just a 3-and-D player. He's not too special, nothing flashy, but
yeah, that's exactly why the Mavs can't win.
Kemba Walker did get signed today.
What is this, fucking 2014, bro? Like,
that boy putting on a UConn jersey, bro. You sleep.
They gonna need that shit if they want him to do anything.
He signed with the Mavs?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
I forgot, bro. I was like, yeah, the Mavs signed Kemba. I mean, they low-key need it, so they need something to stick.
Something, bro. James Harden need to fucking come back, bro.
He's not. You're talking about James Harden. My whole fantasy team's hurt. LaMelo, Paulo's been out. Who else? Cade. All my guys hurt.
Bro, I need Harden to come back. Middleton, he looking like he'll come back soon, within the next few weeks. He's always like day to day. He's been playing a little bit in the G League. He'll come back any second, but bro, it's the same shit, bro. Fucking Pirtle's like day to day. Bogdanovich, I didn't play him today because he was fucking questionable day to day. So I'm like,
I just think might not put in that lineup, bro.
Yeah, I should have just left him in. He only got like 12 points now in the third, so I'm not missing out on a lot. But still, never realize how many fucking injuries there are in the NBA until you like actually look at this shit every day, dog.
Are he playing right now?
Do they play tonight?
I don't know.
There's only like 3 games on tonight.
Nah, I think today's a heavy schedule, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh, no, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
They play in Boston.
I think the Clippers are playing Portland.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Detroit playing somebody, and there's one more game. The Lakers
The NBA just needs to play like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Stupid, bro.
Bro, because I was watching the Heat game. It played at like 5 o'clock on Sunday, and I'm like, okay, I kind of want to watch a little football.
Well, good thing they play, tomorrow? I'm sure you're not doing shit. You can watch them then. Who they play?
I'm going to edit this video and watch them play, yeah.
Who they play?
The Celtics.
Oh, that's an L. You might not even watch that. You might as well not even watch that shit.
All right, bro. How's your boy John Wall doing?
The Celtics is the best team in the league right now, and John Wall has been playing good when he's been healthy. He's saying shit, too, day to day. Clippers just, I don't know, Paul George out, Kawhi makes his monthly appearance and then just disappears. Like,
I low-key starting to feel bad for Kawhi.
They're just waiting for the playoffs, bro.
It was ever since that play. What's his name from the Spurs that injured him?
No, it was from the Warriors, wasn't it?
Was it the Warriors?
Yeah, because he was on the Spurs. Zaza,
yeah, I'm tripping.
Zaza stepped on his ankle.
Yep. I mean, Kawhi's just not been
Zaza.
the same. But I think he's missed like, they said some crazy stat how many games he's missed since that injury. But I mean, that's really it from me. You got anything else you want to add before we sign on off?
That's pretty much it, bro. We covered hella shit.
Yeah, man, it was a good episode as always. So 14, man. Gonna be back next week. Team USA Saturday against Netherlands.
You a soccer fan now?
Bro, it's the World. You don't watch the World Cup?
I mean, I don't watch it. I like see shit like on social media and stuff and like keep up with it, but I'm not like watching soccer. That shit is too boring, dog.
I mean, the only game I watch is USA. I had the little stream up at work, so keeps me entertained at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I mean, I'm going hard for USA, bro. It'd be lit if we actually win a World Cup. We've never seen it happen. I don't know if they've ever won a World Cup, so
I don't think that shit gonna happen, dog. Win the World Cup. Bro,
Alright,
there's so many countries like, bro, they got nothing else but soccer, bro. Like,
you're 100% right, bro. We the underdog storyline. Christian Pulisic putting his nuts on the line, literally. You didn't see it, did you?
no, I didn't see
He
the
got
play.
kicked in the nuts, scoring the only goal of the game.
I knew he scored, but I didn't see the play.
Yeah, they're calling him an American hero now. The memes were killing me.
That's all it takes, bro. Shit. Sign me up. Be considered an American hero.
Bro, it's like obviously memes, bro, but
No,
they're
I
like
know.
carrying him
I'm
out like he was
joking.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like
I saw them. I saw the memes. I
the
saw
X-ray, like eagle inside of him, the bald eagle with
Check
the
out
sign of
Liberty
the
and,
White House or whatever. Don't come at me, man. We're not big soccer guys, but Team USA Saturday 10 o'clock. Yeah, you know I'm repping. I might have to wake up for the game. I'm not gonna cap. But once again, other than that, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Go pod on TikTok, Go2Go, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Y'all go ahead, like, comment, subscribe.
What the fuck?
Let us know, comment, share on TikTok, do all that. And before we go, you just open a Snapchat from Big Max. Shout out to him and his boy Jordan Love. We appreciate y'all, man. See y'all next week.